Welcome to Season 3 of John McGivern's Main Streets.
Take me down to the Paradise City.
The Main Streets podcast takes you behind the scenes of this popular TV program. As we explore great communities across the Midwest on the show each week, you can come here to get the inside scoop from host John and Emmy and the Main Streets producer and director Lois. Listen in as they recount some of their favorite memories from filming and the interesting stories that you won't find anywhere else. We've got lots to share with you from John McGivern's Main Street Season 3. To watch the show, check your local listings. It's also available to stream on the free PBS video app on Roku, Apple TV, and other digital devices, smart TVs, and everywhere you stream TV. John McGivern's Main Streets is produced by Plum Media in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Hi, it's John McGivern again. I'm here with Emmy Fink, co-host of John McGivern's Main Streets, and Lois Bauer, our producer, director, and our leader.
Hi, John.
Our all-time...
What do you want? Why are you buttering me up?
No, our all-time...
Ask for something. Get something out of this, because that was a nice lead-in.
This week, we were in Lafayette, Indiana. Lafayette. West Lafayette, Lafayette, known as Greater Lafayette.
Thank you. I have to be very careful with this one. Greater Lafayette.
Greater Lafayette. Because it is two different towns.
Yeah.
Connected by spirit, I guess.
I don't know. There's a river, right? There's a river on one side and on the other. And really, West Lafayette's more about Purdue than anything. So that's where Purdue University is. And why isn't it called Lafayette University? Because a guy, John Purdue, founded the university. So that's kind of what Lafayette is, quote, known for, is the university. And we learned something this year. I learned a very important lesson this year.
About parking.
College towns.
And about parking.
No, I knew that lesson. Oh. But what I didn't know was how much John McGivern does not like a college town.
It has nothing to do with the college town. It has everything to do with the fact that every hour and 15 minutes when the bell rings or whatever it is, an entire city comes out.
Yes,
and
you're right.
There's no way to get around. There's no way to do a stand-up without hundreds of people surrounding. It's just a lot of it's a lot of extra work when you're in the middle of a campus. So it's not like it's not. Okay, maybe you're right. I just don't like it.
And at Purdue, the middle of campus means that there's no place close for you to park. The content at Purdue was great because it's like Neil Armstrong. It's like the space race was all about training astronauts there. And there's what's the fact about the astronauts? Like of our space program, remember?
Yeah,
it's like 35, no, one third of them.
Three.
Yeah,
one of every three astronauts
has come out of Purdue.
Exactly.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It is.
I didn't remember that. What I most remember is that there was a contest that I participated in. Do you remember what the contest was?
Of course, because I was so excited to find it so that you could do it.
See, she makes me do crap.
Tell me.
She makes me do.
No way. I said to you, John, will you spit crickets? And you said, sure.
Why not?
Yeah, see, you're up for it.
So, cricket spitting contest. I didn't do so badly.
No, for your first cricket that
12
you spit.
feet, I think I made.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it chocolate covered?
Oh, no.
No, I was like, are you sure they're dead?
Right, it's just a dead cricket, Emmy.
It's a dead cricket, so I tried to get a really meaty one. So you kind of look for the heft so that you can, and then the trick was to really kind of gather the spittle.
Lube it up.
Get it all just, so you really kind of have to move it around and get it all kind of. And
I wish you could see him right now.
Get it in the forefront of, just get it in the front of your mouth and be as direct as you can. Look at your face right now, Emmy. Emmy's like, oh, I don't know.
Wow.
And of course, what happened is that I did it once, and Lois was like, okay, now the next one. Well, I'm like, the next one.
How many times did she make you do it?
Did I do three times?
Yeah, but you were not at all adverse. You were like, I'll do it.
I wasn't. No, it was fine.
At one point, he said, do I have a leg in my teeth? But I
did.
Show me how big we're talking. Show me. Like bigger?
Crickets are about the size of your thumbnail, right? About that long. I mean, they're not huge.
And then when they die, do they kind of like get a little smaller?
Well, these are freeze dried, so I think they're just as big as they are in real life, just flash frozen.
Wow.
And there are bigger ones and smaller ones, and he was
And the reason we did that was because we talked to, they have a big entomology school there, the study of bugs.
Okay.
And so Purdue made something famous called the Bug Bowl. And we talked to the professor who started the Bug Bowl, and
Tom Turbin.
Tom is a character. And I met Tom in the site survey too, and I knew he was going to make really great TV. So Tom is retired from Purdue now, but he started the whole, I think he started the Bug Bowl for sure. And it became, they thought it was going to be just this little fun thing. Can I tell you? It's a huge Purdue thing now.
Wow, that's cool.
And that's one of the contests of the Bug
Is cricket spitting. Yeah.
Bowl.
Hey, add it to your resume.
Yeah.
You know.
Host, producer, cricket spitter. Oh, I could put that in the credits this
Do I?
episode.
Do you?
You guys hired me without looking at
I
it,
know.
so I don't think I need it anymore.
We did the interview in the boiler bug barn, meaning that there were there were bugs, live bugs, and there was something so smelly about all of it. It was like, what one of these bugs stinks like this?
Probably the
And they
stink
said
bug.
all of them. Oh,
You
it
know,
was
like
just
the stink bugs?
But at least they're all contained. I mean, they're all like in jars and in, you know,
I'm with John. I like them when
aquariums.
they're dead. I'd rather
Then I want to spit them.
Right. And didn't you get to drink, you got to go and drink some wine with the wine professor? I was, right?
Yeah, well,
I was very
the story
jealous
there was the
about
food
this.
science lab.
Okay.
So we wanted to go into their food science lab because they invented at Purdue aseptic packaging. Do you know what that is? You don't have to refrigerate it. They suck all the air out of it, and somehow it has a longer shelf life. Aseptic packaging, which
That's
also
what
means
that's called?
yeah,
Huh.
aseptic, like. Even like milks and stuff like that. The stuff that you open and then you have to put it in the refrigerator.
right.
The packaging was developed at Purdue.
Okay.
So anyways, they have a big food science department there, and companies come in and learn from them and with them about how to package new things in this, you know, in the way that they do. So that was kind of our main story. And as we were researching it, in Lafayette, Indiana, Lance Miller was my co-producer, and Lance. We went and looked at the food science department, and they said, we have a wine program here. And we're like, in Indiana? I think you should have a wine program in California. And they're like, oh, no. So they have an enology, which is the study of wine program in Indiana, that they took us down into this room where they have their classes. It's like walking into a library with lined walls of books and
leather chairs.
and leather
and
chairs
look
and
who's here.
fireplaces, and yes, very
I'm like, wait, we're on the campus of what?
Right. Why
Where
is
is this?
I can't.
And who is the man in the smoking jacket?
I wanted it to be you, but you wouldn't
It
put
was
it on.
weird.
Oh, I can't tell you how envious I am.
So
Why?
we saw that.
Because
Oh,
I consume a lot of wine.
I'm in recovery, so I don't really care
right.
about
I should have
it.
had you do that
Yes.
part.
Yeah,
but
that
it
should have
was-
been yours.
it was on a
because it
different
was supposed
day.
to be a stand-up. It turned out to be not a stand-up.
Oh, I see.
Because there was
One
way
of
too much
those.
more information.
Right.
And the guy who's in charge of it with his ever so appealing accent.
Yes.
And his sort of like haberdashy sort of, look at you,
Mm-hmm.
oh, hello. And we put a mic on him and really kind of did the interview. And he had a lot to say. He wrote a book about it.
Yeah, it was
He's
cool.
well known in wine circles, and
And I'm sure he was good with that kind of stature.
it's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So you didn't expect to find that at Purdue either. Crickets, wine, and
Right.
aseptic pack.
And
root
traffic.
beer. Root beer. You loved this
Triple
place
X
so much. You
root
took me
beer.
back.
Yes.
Right
yes.
on the border of Lafayette and West Lafayette. It was kind of like, now we entered West Lafayette when we went to Triple X. Loved the couple who own it, operate it. Triple X, which is very funny. That,
Yes,
that
because
there's
you
a-
drive by and you see these three X's.
Yeah,
but
you
it
think,
says triple. XXX. And so I was saying to them, this isn't this kind of repetitive triple XXX. And they go, it's just triple X. I'm like, okay, then I'm reading it wrong. But when you see it, that's funny, right? You're kind of like triple X. But the root beer that started this was called a triple X stand. This wasn't the only one. There was others across the.
It was a root beer stand.
Yeah,
kind of like an A&W, but local.
Okay.
Right.
And triple X stands for if something they mark things quality-wise by X, double X, or triple X, and triple X was the best. Ooh. So that's what they called their root beer, triple X, way back when. Now it's turned into not just a root beer stand; it's a hamburger restaurant, and what they're most known for is the hamburger that
it's called the Purvis burger, named after, I think he was a football player at Purdue way back. Purvis.
Yeah.
And what did they get into the story? I mean, did this football player ask for, because what makes the Purvis is the peanut butter.
Peanut butter on the burger.
Right.
Which when you first hear it, you're kind of like, oh, peanut butter on a burger.
Did they have you try it?
Loved it.
You loved it?
And you loved it? I not only put the peanut butter on there.
You did not with the jelly.
I asked for jelly.
The root beer jelly.
The root beer jelly.
Yes.
So I had peanut butter on the bottom, cheese on top, pickles, and jelly. And people would be like, ugh, the best thing I've ever had.
So good.
In fact,
You're going to go make yourself one?
Can I get to Lafayette?
Really delicious. And they were so fun.
Oh,
this
what
couple.
niceness.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Too.
Peanut butter cheeseburgers. Look at these. I love this part. Oh, look at this. That looks perfect right here.
Isn't that awesome?
And the peanut butter's running on my hand right now, which is part of the appeal, yes?
It is.
Okay, here we go.
You kind of eat it and wear it.
Who would have thought? This is a peanut butter root beer jelly cheeseburger. Come on. West Lafayette, it's a tradition, and I'm glad to follow it right here.
That's what I'm going to remember in Lafayette.
I will also remember the Wolf Park. Remember
you will?
That?
Because you've never been that close to a wolf, have you?
Well, it was odd to me because they had wolves in. They're taking care of these wolves, of course, and they have them separated into these huge fields, sort of like they have their own.
Yeah. They're containment areas,
they're
right?
Containment.
Because the buffalo are right over there. They also have bison.
Right.
And you can't let the two of them meet.
But the wolves knew the people who worked there, and when they showed up, they could get in there with them, and it was like, that's not a wolf, that's a dog, because they were like, they were so happy. The wolves were just happy.
Oh my God!
See
they had treats. Of course, they were happy.
But it was so kind of like,
dog.
this is just weird.
Right. Why are
they howl with them though?
Right.
And I will tell you, it's a conservation project, right? It's keeping things alive, I guess.
Are these wolves hurt? Like, why are they there in captivity?
Depressed, you mean?
You'd be depressed too.
From the sounds of it, they weren't depressed.
No, they weren't depressed. They were happy. They were because they also got fed really well, and they got fed really well because they've got an agreement with the state that cleans up roadkill.
Oh.
So if they see a deer, they call the wolf people. The wolf people go out with the big truck, and they have deer piled high, and they're like, "Get me a back shank." It's like, where'd you get that big piece of deer? It got killed on the road. I'm like, really?
I mean, talk
because
about helping out.
They had a big building. They literally throw it in winter. So, I mean, it's just a big pile of frozen deer.
Frozen dead roadkill deer.
But I mean,
that's
how
you
great.
feed the wolves.
Exactly.
Circle
that
of
helps
life,
out
man.
the DOT people.
Right.
Wowza.
Circle of life.
Who was the guy we
He's
talked
like
to?
the program director, right? He's kind of like the.
He was great.
Yeah.
And
he's the one who.
he was just a really matter-of-fact sort of, this is the way it is, this is the way it works, now follow me, we're going to go. I loved it. He was great. And it's funny how when you get there and it doesn't really work out the way you think it's going to work out, and then you end up talking to somebody who's not even on the schedule, and I have to write down the name, and it's like, who is this? Because I'll forget it in a minute.
Right.
And it turns out to be, I'm so happy that he's the one that we got to talk to.
Yeah.
Because he knew all, animal-wise, he knew all about those bison, he knew all about the wolves, he knew why they had them there, he knew why those three had to be separated from those two, that this is the dominant one, that here come the two that will be kind to this. It was like, what? And then here are the puppies who are 11 months old, so they don't look like puppies, but they sure act like puppies. They sure, all they wanted to do was, it's like, did they just bring me a ball? This is weird,
Right, right.
But it was great. It was great to get in the middle of it all.
Oh, fun.
The wolf park, yeah.
Who also has bison and a turtle. Just so you know. It's not only wolves at the wolf park.
Right.
Right.
It's all kinds.
We went to the farm. Remember the farm?
Farm at Prophetstown. Now, when you hear Prophetstown, what do you think?
Illinois.
You
That's
do?
a town in Illinois.
I think when I hear Prophetstown, I think of something like a cult someplace. I think of like something that's like, old-timey, the guy with the stovetop hat, the Puritan type and that kind of.
Sure.
No, this is named after a Native American, the prophet. So this area has a whole Native American history here, okay? As a matter of fact, you went to a museum in this town, the Lois, the Tippecanoe Battlefield Museum, okay?
Yes.
So the Tippecanoe battle is a big point in history, okay, where Black Hawk got beaten back. Isn't that what it is?
I think it is. But I'm glad you didn't ask me to explain it because I would have been like, ooh, that's
I'm not
going
sure.
back a long few months ago.
But the prophet was leader of the tribe. And so Prophetstown is named after the leader of the Indians. But what's different about this farm is it's not set in like the 1800s. You go to a lot of like farms that are, heritage farms. This is set in what? The 1940s, right? Was it the 20s or the 40s?
20s.
In the 20s. In the 1920s. So there's a house there that is a Sears Roebuck, order it out of the catalog house that was built there as like the farmhouse. And they have many, many different animals, different tractors, it was really cool, wasn't it?
I drove a tractor.
Yes, he did. You walked a donkey.
Is it like one of
I
the
walked a
exposed
donkey.
tractors?
You tried.
Or were you inside in like a high-tech new?
No, it was an old tractor.
Okay.
No, one of the very old.
Yeah, fun.
And it was a 3-shifter.
Oh, yeah.
In a really hard shift, and I was just like,
You're just holding on.
I know, I was going. I love to drive anything, and
Yeah,
this
he
was
does.
fun. And I went around the farmyard, and it was
Yeah.
fun. They had a donkey, and they had chickens and roosters and
Ducks and, yes.
and bees. They had a beehive farm.
Oh, they had big pigs. Remember the pigs?
They had big pigs. I don't remember the pigs.
Oh, I smell
I
them.
do
You
remember
do
the
remember.
pigs.
Yes, they were smelly. But
Horses.
Okay,
yeah.
this episode takes the cake for the amount of animals included. I mean,
Honestly,
we
I
started
think
with
we
the
had
cricket,
tons of
and I
species.
think we've hit every animal.
Lafayette, West Lafayette, Greater Lafayette.
Wow.
yeah, that was very cool.
We had a good time, and I think again we will certainly go back to another college town. In fact, we will go back in probably the next episode,
next
right?
week.
I hope so. Are you coming with?
I will.
All right.
I don't know about next season if I'll get him back to a college town, but this one was really interesting to me. I loved it.
It was, yeah. So Lafayette, Indiana, that's where we were, and that's where you'll probably visit once you watch the episode.
Yes, you will.
And let's shout out to Melissa McMahon from Bloomington, Illinois, and hope Melissa sometime goes to Lafayette. Melissa, thank you for being a fan, and thank you for listening.
Thanks, Melissa.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lafayette.
Want to wear something that's going to support your favorite show? Shop at Main Street Store. Proceeds go to help us get next season into production, so come on, go shopping at mainstreets.tv.